texting my best friend. I was about to record my speech. You know, people that text a lot get distracted. Now, I'm sure that most all of you have a cell phone, but did you know that out of the nearly 7 million text message users, that 79% of those people have text message while they're in the bathroom? Now, that was just according to one study that I read from the Associated Content. Now, I've had a cell phone for almost 10 years, and since I'm 22 years old, that's almost half of my life. My first job was selling cell phones for AT&T, and I worked there for 3 years. Now, I know a lot about cell phones because A, I sold them, and B, I'm addicted to using my cell phone. Cell phones have been around for many years, longer than me even, and there's difference between smartphones and cell phones, and today there's many different styles of phones. First, we're going to talk about what cell phones are and where they first came, what they were like when they first gained popularity. Cell phones have been around for a really long time. First, they were car phones that took up a lot of space in your trunk. They were popular in the 1970s, and they looked like this, but this isn't in a trunk. Now, people refer to that generation of phones as 0G, and they worked on analog versus today's digital. Now, then there were briefcase phones. They were in a thing that looked just like a briefcase, except for your briefcase weighed 50 pounds, and they looked like this. Now, that phone was analog also, and that was used in the 1980s. Then there came the brick phone. Those are really popular, but they were really only usable in big cities like Los Angeles because otherwise they didn't have coverage. And they were 1G, and they were the first phones that used digital technology. And they looked like this. And this guy is the guy who invented it. This phone weighed about 2 pounds, but it only had 30 minutes of talk time, so you couldn't talk very much. And then 8 hours of standby, so if you weren't using your phone, how it would stay charged. But it took 10 hours to recharge. Now that debuted in 1983, and I read on an MSNBC report that it sold for $3,995, and that was without a plan. Then came 2G phones, which were more like the phones we have today, and they're a lot slower though. We have 3G phones, and debuting this summer are 4G phones. 4G will be able to stream live video, like we can see now in commercials if you don't have a 3G phone, but they're a lot clearer and faster. Now, the next thing after that that's coming is WiMAX. WiMAX is the next step, and it uses a different kind of antenna than is currently used, so it covers a lot larger area than the currently used antennas. It's about 10 times faster than 3G as well. Today, there are two main different types of cell phones, smartphones and cell phones. Smartphones are gaining in popularity as more people realize their capabilities. Smartphones are one type of phone, and they're basically little pocket computers that have phone capability. Now, they use 3G technology for now, and a person can email, use the internet, make and edit Microsoft documents, all kinds. And you can also use GPS, which is nice so you don't have to have two different little things in your car. And you can also check the weather and have see the live Doppler. And it's really convenient. It just makes life a lot easier. My favorite part about smartphones is that they have QWERTY keyboards for the most part, and that makes it really easy to text message, and that's my favorite. Now, the last thing that smartphones have a lot these days are touch screens, so that makes it even easier to use, so then you don't have to figure out which button you're trying to press. Cell phones are a little bit simpler. They're used for making and receiving phone calls and text messages mostly. They don't have the computer capability of the smartphone, and these phones are usually 2G, or now some are 3G. Now, by 1984, there were 300,000 wireless subscribers in the world, and now there's over 3 billion, and they're growing in the world now according to the CTIA. Now, let's talk about the different styles of cell phones that we see today. The first style that was popular was the bar style phone. This, like this Nokia here, I had a phone just like this 10 years ago when I was 13. And then there's this Kyocera bar style phone. Both of these phones were in the early 2000s, and they were called bar phones because they're flat like candy bars, and as you can see, both of these phones don't have cameras. Then the next style of phone was a flip phone. This is a Sanyo flip phone, which is similar to the Motorola Razr, which was really, really popular. And Razrs have an outside metal. This one's just plastic. So it's not as durable, although they all break a lot. Now, they're called flip phones because they open and close like clamshells. And flip phones were really when cameras became really popular in cell phones. Now you can almost not find a camera in a cell phone if you needed one. This style of phone, the flip phone, is very popular in the United States, and I sold a lot of them when I worked for AT&T. Another style of phone is a slider phone. This is my cell phone. It's a Palm Pre. It's a smartphone. And see, it slides up and down to reveal the keyboard, so it makes it really easy to use. Now, these are the three most common styles of cell phones that people have today. You've now seen the cell phones and their progressions over the last 40 years and where we're going in the immediate future. It's almost impossible to predict what cell phones will be like 40 years from now. And all I know is that having pocket computers will definitely change our lives forever. And based on history, we know that the best ideas for this technology haven't even been thought of yet.
Yay!
Yay!
Very good.
Very nice.